Fuck clubs, fuck partying, fuck trying to fit in and socialize, rub elbows with everybody so people can stop calling you weird. Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you not clubbing? Like every time I text you and invite you to go do something fun and cool, you always studying? Because I'm trying to get it. Let me tell you something, homie. These women ain't going nowhere. These clubs, these parties, all this shit ain't going nowhere. The more weird you are is a reflection of how committed you are to focusing on your shit, molding and shaping and developing your ideas and your craft so that when it's time for you to make your rounds, you gonna fly. Fuck clubs, fuck parties.
You deal with a lot of grief. Like I think about, you know, Brother Paul Walker, and I think about
John
Singleton, your mother.
Divorce. Both of my sisters died.
Your sisters. People don't look at divorce as grief, but you did. You lose things, you know. You probably lost a lot of friends when you went through your mental health breakdown. Are you really, have you really taken the time to deal with all of that grief? Or do you just try to stay busy to avoid it?
I'm doing the best I can with every 24 hours I get. That's it.
Get some tissue for me, brother.
No, I don't need no tissue. Black men cry.
That's right.
Need no fucking tissue. Every 24 hours I get, I'm doing the best I can. Beautiful Pain, 1992. There is no square footage I could ever live in. There is no rims, no jewelry, and no car. There is no net worth. There is no press release. There is no co-star. There is no collaboration in the world that could ever replace my mama. That could ever fill the void of what it's like to wake up and get married and want to be in something for the rest of your life. And it goes away.
You're making me cry.
Get Tyree some tissue. I
don't need no tissue.
Man, you US, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love you.
You've been
too,
holding
brother.
this
Do
in
you
the whole
understand
interview,
how
though.
much power it is in letting it go?
Yeah, because you've been holding it the whole interview. I've been watching you.
You asked me the question.
I did, but I mean, I'm getting you.
You should have never asked the question.
I love you,
if you didn't want to see.
I love you, brother. I love you. I love you.
How hard it's been to get through.
I love you. I love you, black man.
Okay, do you not cry?
Absolutely.
You might not bring it to the radio.
Absolutely.
But this is what being grown is.
Thank you, brother.
I'm not doing this.
I need one. My makeup gonna mess up.
Hear me.
My concealer's sitting today.
Hear me. Black men cry. When divorces happen, women aren't the only one that are devastated. When a miscarriage happens, women are not the only one that you should be checking on. When you can't put food on the table because your career goes up and then it goes down, stop calling, skipping over the man, and just checking on the woman.
Yo. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Realest one here. If I do say so myself, others like to debate, but let me see what's in the chat. Marlene, appreciate you. You already know. Gay, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Brother Bronze, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Commander Alpha, what's going on? Alpha, appreciate you. Chase, too, appreciate you. Tamika, appreciate you. And shout out to the Bushes, too. You know, this is new for me because, you know, I like it got to be 2 or 3 for me to come on there. You understand? Like my thinking cap don't really get on just like late hours, and most people be sleeping, all of that. But I had it set up, so I stuck to it, man. But just, you know, I played that clip for a reason, right? Even though it's bigger than Tyrese, this is a rhetorical question. Like y'all do know black men cry, right? Y'all know this, right? It's a rhetorical question. It might sound stupid to some folks, but believe it or not, some people actually forget that we do cry. I kind of did a video a while back that was similar, but it was based on depression, mental health. And this is really not that far, so I'm not going to go strictly down that lane again. But Brother Time, what's problem, man? Appreciate you. Already. But Tyrese is kind of like the perfect example of what I'm talking about. So I had to play this clip, right? And you see this man, how he sat there, he spoke about how he lost his mother. He had, a divorce he went through. He lost some sisters, You know him from the Fast and Furious movies. He was good friends with Paul Walker, R.I.P. to Paul Walker. Somebody who's a perfect example of someone who had gone through hell, right? Gone through all of this traumatic shit. And if y'all remember, like a couple years, I believe it was a couple years back, where bro, he kind of like went ape shit on the internet, right? People thought Tyrese had lost his damn mind, which maybe he did, and that's kind of the point I'm getting to, because when it builds up, what else you gonna do when you don't really, you don't necessarily have other people to talk to, and we're black men, so it's like this only, like with women is different, right? They got their sisters, their girlfriends. Women are known to be emotional creatures, so they'll sit there, like if a breakup happens, they're gonna speak to their girlfriend, like, girl, I done finally dumped that nigga. I hated his stinking ass, but damn, I'm feeling down right now about, that type of thing. And they can talk to this, the sisters about it, and they'll understand where they're coming from. And they can relate on an emotional level. You understand? With us, when we speak to our guys about that, people forget, even if the guy did mess up, or whether the female messed up, no matter the case, we all go through breakups, right? We all go through that divorce. You understand? When when somebody lose their mama, that if you ain't never seen a man cry before, you damn sure gonna see it then. You understand? A man might have never cried his entire life since he was like 15, 16 years old. He can be 45, 55, hardly ever shed a tear since his teens. But when that happens, that's a completely different thing right there. And I don't know what that feels like. And my heart definitely goes out to those who do know what that feels like, men and women for that matter. But about Tyrese though. Right, Ronnie, right. It builds until you release it. And it can be something else. When it's finally released, it's built up over time. It can turn into something else. You understand? But the reason I chose Tyreek is kind of like the subject matter, right? I came across this clip, and I'm looking at the comments, and it's like, how can anyone now understand that? I'm seeing other women in the comments who are like, like, I gotta remember, like, black men go through it too and stuff like that. We know black women go through it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel sorry for the things that y'all go through in the world. You know what I'm saying? Nobody goes through it like a black woman, but then it's safe to say that nobody goes through it like a black man. Understand? It's two different things, except when it comes to expressing it. It's a little bit different. But Tyrese, man, I remember a couple years back, he was on the internet. I think it had to do with his daughter. He was like, he was crying and whining. And even at that time, I didn't necessarily take it all of that. I'm not gonna say I didn't take it serious, but my reaction was like everybody else's reaction, like, oh damn, Tyrese, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? But when I take a look back at that, and this clip right here, this man been going through it. When he was doing that at that time, to some people, he was like acting out, and maybe it was unnecessary. But that man was crying because it was pertaining to his kid, his child. I think the reason it has so much shock value to it is because you don't see black men, cry over their kids every day. If anybody's gonna cry over the kid, it's gonna be mama. You know what I mean? It's gonna be the mother. It's on both sides, but two different experiences. Exactly. Two different experiences. You understand? But people thought, you know, he was a little bit loopy, thought he was a little crazy or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? There was shock value to it because you don't see a black man like release that. You normally don't see it. It happens, but I don't think we see it enough, as crazy as it is. And if you're a man, right, the last thing you want to do is walk around and having women and other people thinking, oh, that's just soft and you know, all this shit. Because we all come from different places, different neighborhoods, cities, whether it's projects, suburbs, or whatever the case. But when there's black people involved, you don't really have those conversations. Black men don't really sit down. You know, they're not going to, like I said, how females are with their friends, right? They can sit there and they can bond on that emotional level. They might cry together. But when it's black men, we don't go to our homies, we don't go to our mans and just start busting out crying unless it's something as drastic as losing our mother. You know, understand? That's just an example. Even when we're going through a divorce or a breakup, you know, we're going to be mad and when we might shed those tears, it's probably going to be when nobody else is around. And that's really bad, man. It's really bad because that's another form of holding it in. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we want to make sure we don't let it out in front of people, that right there is holding it in. When you become comfortable just letting that shit go, just letting that shit out like Tyrese did at the Breakfast Club. He didn't care who was there. And he was just like, yo, black men cry. I don't need the tissue. This is my life. This is what I'm going through. You know, like everything we just talked about, all those losses, you know what I mean? All those people that I lost, this is my life. And he said, you know, every day he's fighting to, you know, to kind of like fill that void for the people that he lost in his life. You understand? Read the comments. Gary says, it may be the misconception that men can love in that capacity. Marlene says, I'm going to be honest, I thought Tyrese lost his mind. Yeah, Marlene, and that's what I was saying, you know, all this time, because you can tell, like, I've always been a fan of Tyrese, you know what I mean? I think I said Tyrese. I've always been a fan of him, you know, started out as singer, turned to an actor. And don't get me wrong, this whole video is not just based on Tyrese, but he is kind of like the focal point. He's the inspiration for this video. If I had not seen this clip, I probably wouldn't be doing this video. But people thought that the man was crazy, you know. Even the way he conducts his interview, it's a different vibe. You understand? A different vibe from when he would have conducted an interview years ago. A complete change, a complete difference in this brother because of the things that he's going through. Like you can like see the emotional scars on this man just from how he talks. You understand? Yeah, he's talking proper. He got his full sense in that clip, but you can tell this, you know, just the fact that all it took was for someone to bring up the people he lost in his life, the situations that, you know, most people would have, and dare I say it, he's been through things that most people would have kind of like checked out had they been through that type of shit. So it go to show you that I guess it's no joke, man. It's really no joke. Let me see. My niece says when my mom died, I stayed in bed and cried in my best friend's arms. It's the only reason I didn't snap. Right. Right. And you see, for us, you know, as men, I can't speak for every man in the chat or who's listening or whatever, but I remember when my grandmother died, right? The only time anybody in my life ever see, I'm kind of like a robot. And I tell people, like, especially women, I'm not a robot, I'm not an android. You know, emotion is something that, you know, I'm still kind of like working on myself. And this is just a personal thing right here, right? But I remember like when my grandmother had died probably like going on like a decade ago, RIP to her. I handle like funerals even different, you know, like I ain't trying to make this whole life grim and nothing like that, but we just keeping it real because that's what it's about. It's about just keeping it real and putting it out there. how I deal with funerals might not be the way other people deal with funerals. I can tell you, I can be honest with y'all and tell y'all, I don't go to funerals, no matter who it is that dies. I don't. So that's a sign of what? Someone who's like passive aggressive, somebody who you know doesn't really let their emotions out there, right? I didn't go to my grandmother's funeral. Like as much as I loved it, as bad as I felt, I didn't go to her funeral. But I spent that day with my cousin, and I just basically just got drunk. And we sitting there riding around. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just, I'm just silent, but tears and everything. You understand? That was my way of dealing with it. You understand? Every situation where somebody has died, I've never went to the funeral, but I had my own kind of remembrance of them in my own way. I would be by myself and I would deal with it that way. You understand? My uncle had passed away like about a year ago now. Didn't go to his funeral. As much as I loved him, as bad as I felt, some people will never understand that. Some people think it's highly disrespectful to not go to a person's funeral if they pass away. And that's their prerogative. That's their understanding of it. So I can't be mad at that because a funeral is not even supposed to be a sad occasion. Really, it technically is a celebration of life. I'm the type of person I will remember them as the last time I seen them. It didn't really even hit me that that man had passed away until I seen the obituary, because that's when you know it's real. Dodged the funeral because I didn't want to see this man in a suit, because I didn't want to see a casket. But when I seen the obituary, that's and just right there, I had to like go outside from everybody else, and I had kind of like a 15-second breakdown, 20-second breakdown. I ain't ashamed to tell you, because that's what it's really about. You know what I mean? But let me keep up on these comments, man. Gary says, you can't, it's frowned upon. You can't, it's frowned upon. How often you hear men say, I love you to another man besides a sad situation? That's correct. That's correct. It has to be some drastic shit, man. It's a shame. It's really a shame. It has to be some drastic shit for someone, for a man, for a black man specific, because I can't speak for no other ethnicity. I can't even speak for any of y'all in the chat. I'm just saying my experience. Yeah, I never really handled like tears well. You understand? I feel like I feel crazy when I cry in front of somebody. I avoid it at all costs. I feel weird as hell. I feel like almost ashamed when I'm in front of somebody, and you know what I mean. It just feels weird. I can't explain it to you. Maybe some of y'all dudes in the chat know that feeling, but I don't know, man. Time says I lost my parents, and it definitely made me RIP to your parents, man. It definitely made me strong, but at the same time, I became really close off to people till I realized that their pass away was for me to grow and believe in my faith and patience. That's dope right there. It's dope. RIP to your parents, man. Seriously, man. Money says I thought he was crazy. Now I know he's real and honest. Yeah, when people, when people, it goes to show you, Marley, you just never know when somebody is going through something. You understand? To us, we see these celebrities got it 10 times bad. They got it 10 times bad. They got fans, people who watch them, people who even harass them for certain things, like in comments. If you ever been to Instagram or Twitter, any of these social media places, some of the wild stuff gets said to these celebrities in their comments. People that they'll never see a day in their life. And they can respond if they want, but the internet is undefeated. You understand? Like even us, just being regular content creators on this platform right here, you know how it is when you have people come in your comments or say things that are crazy, whatever, try to trigger you, whatever the case. You can respond all you want. Internet is undefeated. If that one troll who has 10 different accounts, you could light his ass up two times out of 10, right? But then there's going to be another 10 accounts made for every 2 times you decide to interact with them. Imagine these celebrities who have these big platforms, right? known all over the world. When you see somebody like a Tyrese who gets on the internet, he's bearing his soul. He's letting the world know I'm in pain. He was crying out at that time. We took it for a joke. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? We didn't necessarily take it for a joke, but we didn't take it as serious as it should have been taken. That was a black man who was going through some shit. And he was letting everybody know, man. I remember that like it was yesterday. That man was being clowned for that. You know, and you feel bad looking back at it because he's been through a lot of things that some of us might have necessarily been through. I know I can't say I have, you know what I mean? I lost people in my life, but he's talking about divorce, friends, sisters, mother, like all of that. We talking about years and years and years bottled up worth of bottled up emotion. Let me see. It takes a lot to overcome situations like that. Molly says, I respect a man that can show compassion at the right time. When a man don't cry at a funeral, I back off of it. I hear you, my man. Everyone's different, right? Gary says you don't like loss, you want to show emotions in front of others. Yeah, that's something that makes me feel weird as hell. I cannot explain it to you. If I feel like I'm about to get to that point where I might shed, it don't matter if it's like it could be 2 tears on my face. I might do a quick wipe off real quick, like, no, I'm good, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't know it if you didn't look at my eyes and see that my eyes were actually red, you know. Amber Angels, appreciate you, Queen, appreciate you. Jesus says, right. Molly says, but I mean, if I am in a relationship, I can't be with someone who can't cry. That's interesting right there. That's interesting. Because, you know, I had seen, y'all know who K Michelle is, right? Singer. Um, this is probably one of the only times I've seen a woman who straight up just downplayed uh, a man being human. I don't know if you know how people say things, but it comes out a certain way, and then maybe they wasn't really thinking, and they probably think to themselves, I wish I could go back and change that. I don't know if that was the case with her. But anyway, this is probably a few months back, and K Michelle, I seen a clip where she actually went viral for this, where she had said that she doesn't find a man who cries attractive. Like she couldn't sexually be turned on by a man who cries, right? And I'm thinking, do you mean a man who's crying all the time for any and every reason? Or are you talking about a man who just shows general emotion? But either way, how could you not feel like that's an ignorant thing to say? Like, how could you're basically saying it's okay for you to, for someone to deal with all the emotion that you probably got, that you probably gonna, let out. But let that man drop one tear in front of you and you want nothing else to do with him. Ain't that some shit? And she doesn't speak for all women, of course, but I'm pretty sure there's some women out there in the world who may feel like she feels. You understand? Imagine a woman being turned off by a man just because he's emotional. Now, there's some crybabies in the world. There's some crybaby men who cry for any and every little thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, that I don't know what that's like dealing with a person like that. I'm still not going to down it. You know what I'm saying? Let me look at the comments. Marlene says, I don't go to the funeral home, just the memorial service. I don't go to either one, Marlene. Brian say, that's why my ancestors are with me daily. Dope, dope. Amber Angel says, a man is human. A man should cry. The release of tears is a necessary body function. Absolutely, absolutely. Tom says, Brian, stay healthy, blessed, balanced in life, focused, and motivated every day. Okay. Molly says, what I don't like is when people make fun of others or judge you because they think you should be or act a certain way. Right. And that's all across the board right there. Because you have to understand where a person is coming from in order to understand their reaction, their actions, their emotion, their mentality. You know what I mean? I always try to put myself in other people's shoes to understand exactly what they could have been thinking. What could they have been feeling in that moment? What was their mind? What was their mindset like in that moment? I tried my best to put myself in other people's shoes, but sometimes you can't. If you haven't gone through the same traumatic experience they went through, then how can you? The only thing you can do is be as understanding as a person on the opposite side would. But I definitely understand what you're saying with that. Franz say what most don't get is we are energy and living a human experience. Right, right. Let me see. Amber says people do not understand the meaning of the release of tears. Yeah, it's a lot behind that right there. It's supposed to be a healthy thing. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a healthy thing. Um, I was looking at because I was curious about this. I was curious about the crime percentage, the difference of the crime percentage between men and women in the world, right? And there was as you would guess, there's definitely more men who are documented to do crime more than women. And I wonder if that could possibly come from emotional stress, things like, you know, being passive aggressive, like because this is all over, right? You don't know what a motherfucker going through, man. You just don't know. And they can contribute to some of the things that men do in the world. Not to excuse anything. I'm gonna get it twisted. I'm not passing off I'm not excusing anybody, because if you do some wild shit, some illegal shit, then you getting locked up for that. That is what it is. You understand? Only thing we can do is work on it and control it. But I wonder if the majority of that percentage, or maybe even more than that, if it could be due to the fact that black men are just known to hold back emotion. And then when they get in that, let's say, hell, dare I even say it, which I'm not giving it a pass, but you got some of these serial killers that are in the world, right? Some of the most historical black serial killers. Where do you think that shit starts? Does it start? Obviously there's an emotional balance there, right? They could have been more of a crier than me, though. You understand? But that starts from somewhere. That starts in the head. That's a mental and an emotional thing. Who knows what a person who does things like that goes through? Because sometimes some of those, they go through more traumatic things than you can ever even experience, even imagine. You understand? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna drop to. Let me see. I think I got put in there. Did y'all see that? No, all right. I'm just gonna put that down there just in case anybody decides to want to jump up. Cause once I get on my shit, I get on my shit, fam. You know what I mean? But hey, all right. Let me get back to the comments. Let me get to the comments. Antisocial, appreciate you, appreciate you. Damn, I'm so busy running my mouth. I'm passing by a lot of damn comments. Let me see. I gotta go through them now. Okay. Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to catch up on these dead comments. Oh, Molly said my ex was a narcissist and he jacked me up. He never let himself be vulnerable with me. I will never allow that again. Yeah, don't ever allow that, Molly. Don't ever allow that. That's crazy. Um, Bron say, and I definitely agree because I cry every time I'm laughing, tears of happiness. I'm trying to go down this kind. Gary said it says if men are loved with conditions of being like a robot. I don't know, that could be fair to say in a lot of situations, Gary. You know what I'm saying? I would think that that's there's definitely situations out there where that definitely is the case. Shades 2 says, I know what it's like. Amber says, yes, Mosade, I was going to say men cry from extreme laughter. I'm catching up on the comments, y'all. That's all, just catching up on the comments. So that's what you was talking about when you said that, Shades 2. She said, I know what it's like. Dude cried over everything I said that showed that I care. Damn, see, I can't even speak on that because I'm definitely the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully he got himself together, he got his mind right, he talked to somebody because don't nobody want to walk around crying every day because as black men, we get like our reputation get tarnished for that type of stuff. People look at us like, no, our thing is like, wow, we don't want to go around and being expressive towards our homies and shit that we grew up with, because like I ain't trying to look like no punk bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody don't want to get looked at like that. It's a stigma. You understand? You come, especially when you come from certain places. You know what I'm saying? Like I did everything together but cry, but speak about what you're really going through and shit like that. And you just kept it to yourself. You keep things to yourself. It's only a matter of time before that shit bubble up and explode, man. Tom says, you guys are beautiful and I wish everlasting good health. May God bless your journey in life with your families and always be safe in your travels today and every day. Much respect and love. Appreciate your time. Always with a dope word. Appreciate you. Definitely, definitely. Marlene says, there are certain times I need to cry and I just don't give a fuck where I am. I'm going to cry. I don't care who likes it or not. I do what helps me feel better. And you definitely got that right to do it. There's times where where you could be out in the world and you'll see someone who might be having a breakdown, or maybe they're about to have a breakdown, but you don't know them enough necessarily to approach them and say, oh, what's going on with you? What's wrong? And the fact of the matter is, if more people in the world did that, like actually extended a hand or maybe a hug, even to that random person they never met, they might have even saved a life that day. You know what I mean? We come across like 200 people every day, and we don't know what them people are going through, fam. You know? That's why I tell people it really don't matter like where people come from. It don't matter how different you are from somebody. The fact is, excuse me, y'all. Fact is, we all got that one thing in common: emotion. We just handle that different. Amber says it is better that a man cry than hold the emotion that's causing it in. That is extreme stress. That's definitely some stress right there. That's definitely some stress. Same here, Molly. I cry when I'm mad too. Amber and Angels. Let me see. But really, watch out when you see a man crying and he's mad. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I've been that before. I've been like crying and mad, but I ain't no damn fool. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fool in the sense of humor, but I ain't no psychopath. I ain't no weird fool who want to hurt somebody or anything like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is something to look out for because, like I say, I was just sitting here talking about people who get to the point where they're ready to cause somebody harm. They're ready to take a life. That starts from somewhere. Somebody who has tears in their eyes and they're mad at the same time. That sounds like the boiling point right there. So you got to wonder about the actions that are going to follow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is something to look out for. Let me see. I think it was because I saw my dad and brothers cry, so it's natural for me to see men cry. Okay. Okay. Alpha says, I don't cry when I'm mad. I've never understood that. I cry when I feel hurt. Right. Only when I'm like really sad. When it has to be a loss that I cry over. You know what I'm saying? When I was in my younger years as a teenager, I went through, my depression situation. That was the only other time that I cried in my life. You understand? I don't cry from pain. I get mad from pain. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person that's probably just like punch a wall or something like that. But let me finish these comments before I continue with what I was saying and shit. Crying is an emotion. Commander, crying doesn't necessarily mean weakness. It means many things such as happiness, sadness, gladness. All right. They got caught up on those comments, man. Yeah. But the one thing that stops, that's the number one thing right there. Like we got pride, man. Black men got pride like that. That we got pride, we got ego. That shit can be fragile too. I'm sure y'all know this as women. It can be fragile. It can be. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is all the time. You know. But the fact of the matter is, we go through just as much. It can be debated. We know what women go through. We understand it. It could be debated that men go through just as much, but just on a different level, under different terms. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's a different result. And it's just dealt with different. Who do men go to when they need to let this steam off? Maybe we don't want to cry. Maybe we want to get it out of our system before it even gets to that point. You understand? There's times where I felt myself like getting ready to tear up, and I'm like, let me shake this shit. Let me shake this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get in that sad space, because you feel useless when you get in that space. You feel useless. You feel kind of like worthless. Like it's a weird feeling to me. You understand? But the number one thing that keeps us from going there is getting clowned. If you're a genuine man, then when you see another man in that, at that point, you should know not to make fun of that. You should know. You should understand that there is a reason you see that man breaking down. There is a reason you see that man teared up. There is a reason you see that man with eyes as red as a blood flag. You know what I'm saying? But all the things that people go through, nobody goes up to people and just asks them, yo, what is you going through? Like, brother, I see you going through something. Like, you need to get something off your chest. Fact is, even if people did that, nobody's going to just like tell their business. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to just straight up just tell their business anyway. But you feel crazy going to your homies talking about, yo, man, I got to get this off my chest. You know what I'm saying? Unless they feel like they're getting ready to like really hurt somebody or kill somebody. We don't got nobody to really go to like that. Not even to our mamas. Like, our mama going to be the one who's going to say to you, if there's something that you need to get off your chest, if you feel in a certain way, then let that shit out. But just because she told us that doesn't mean we're going to do it. You understand? Let me see. Marlene says, I was crying when I left the water bill company because I had to take my dad's name off the bill because the reality was I was never going to see him again. Wow. Yeah, it's the little things like that, the little things like that that just remind you of that person you lost, Definitely prayers though, Marlene. I have been out crying. People have judged me, laughed at me, stared, or just ignored me, but I don't care. Then that makes me cry more. And Amber says, sometimes I cry watching other people cry. Yeah, there's a name for that. I feel like it's trying to roll off my tongue. It starts with an E. It's about to roll right off my tongue. It'll come to me in a second. Let me see. Gary said men have to cry in secrecy, right? Society has that to be a weakness despite men having emotions. Mm-hmm. And would say, have you ever noticed if someone is holding back tears and you put your arm around them, they'll, but yeah, I don't think I've ever been in that situation where I've actually like put my arm around somebody and that happened, but I've seen it happen. You know what I'm saying? But it's wild, man, because speaking from a man's perspective, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. Yeah, you could yell out to the world, yo, I'm going through some shit right now. I gotta let this shit off. And then when you do, when you look in a woman's face that you might have a potential interest in or an attraction to, you might feel crazy. You might feel crazy. Not necessarily, but I'm just saying, that's just the ego thing, is what I'm saying. You understand? That's just an ego thing. Like imagine dealing with a woman who you're expressing yourself to, and our mindset is I got to keep this to myself because this woman might tell me to suck it up. You understand? Because what's a man to a woman, right? Somebody strong, somebody supposed to protect and all of that shit like that. So if they see us in a vulnerable position, it might be a turn off for her, and that's what's in our mind. So it's like even when we lay down next to that woman, we turn it to the other side. We might put what? We might put our head under the damn something. Well, not me, but there might be men who probably go and get up, go in the next room just to let out those tears. Go in the bathroom, come back, sniffling. She talking about, yo, you all right? Like, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But those are kind of like our fears, though. We just men. We know we human at the end of the day, but our fears is, we don't want to be judged for it. Point blank, period. We don't want to be judged for being emotional. It's a shame. It really is a shame, man. It is a shame. I'm looking at these comments. Um, Only other time a man cry is if he's drunk because of the truth serum called alcohol spirits. Yeah, I've seen situations like that where men get tore up, lit up, and all of a sudden they just like loud, belligerent, and they just start talking about something that was bothering them. And everybody else, even then, some people looking at them like they crazy. You know what I mean? It takes for some drastic measures, drastic situations for men to let that type of stuff out, man. Empath. There you go, Angel. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Oh, I was about to say empathicist or some shit like that. But yeah, there you go. Let me see. When my dad died, my brother literally screamed and cried to watch that. Yeah. Yeah, that would call for it right there. That would call for it. That would call for it. I think it's attractive for the man cry. It's not a cry, baby. I mean, though. Right. Definitely. Yeah, man. It's easy to bottle shit up. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel like I can shake it up, if I feel like it's not something that's major, then it's like, okay, I can get over this. This ain't no big deal. You know what I mean? When you when you come from like a certain type of family who doesn't talk about that type of thing, you might come from a family who probably judges you for missing a damn button in your shirt. You understand? Like the judgment is on high, it's there. Like it's a high level of judgment around the people that you're related to. So it's like I'm not trying to let them know what's going on with me. They might not even understand. You have all these different worries, all these different concerns. Like one question is gonna lead to another. Okay, tell me what's wrong. Okay, well, how long has this been going? All of this different shit. There's so many reasons why men just don't say shit about the things that they go through. You know? And to say if a bitch ever tell a man to suck it up, She's a piece of shit. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I for sure agree with that right there.
Fellas, know your worth and stop letting women treat you like dirt. And I'm not talking about the good women, because good women don't do that. Good women reciprocate the energy, the good energy. That you do for me, I do for you energy. Know your worth.
Damn, she fine. But anyway, back to business. Back to business. Amber says, Marlene, I have only seen one other person scream cry from the soul, and it scared the hell out of me. But all I'm saying, man, because you know this wasn't even no long live or anything like that, because it's not a whole lot to really touch on. It's simple. It's just a stigma to be a black man and to show emotion. You understand? Some men don't care. Some men have been through enough shit in their life. Tyrese was a perfect example of that. It was important for me to play that clip to start it out so people understood the vibe of this live. He was the perfect example. Out of all the celebrities that I know that I might be considered a fan of or whatever the case is, this man walk around not worrying about what people say, anything like that. Of course, he threw the tissues up in the air, basically saying, no, just let the tears fall. No, just let the tears fall. I go through this. I do this. I do this. Like, this is another day for me. This is another day for me. I'm just letting it out. Black men cry. That's what he said. I had to put those words in the title because they're simple, but, you know, they're strong. You understand? Black men cry. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the weight of the world type of situation. We got to go out in the world. We got to make it shake by any means, because these bills and shit like that, like keeping a roof over your head and your car note, and, and your internet bill and everything, and you got babies you got to feed. You know what I'm saying? You got a wife you provide for, all of that different shit. The world don't care about that. The world don't care nothing about that. America don't care nothing about no black man crying, man. You understand? Don't care nothing about that. We got to go out into the world and do whatever it is we got to do. And we don't have time to sit there and really address how we feeling about anything, because it really seemed like it don't matter if we was to sit there and address anything. It don't really matter. You understand? 24 hours in a day, and them 24 hours go by so fast. In that day's time, we got to go out and do whatever it is, that we do to provide and get by and shit. Nobody has time to really sit there and lean on somebody's shoulders, or even try to find somebody whose shoulders we can lean on for a second. And before you know it, all that shit that was messing with you in the back of your mind, it built up, and you're not even keeping track of how long you was feeling like that. So then it gets to a point where it's like, you know what? I woke up today. Today I want to hurt somebody. Today I want to hurt somebody. I want to bust somebody upside their damn head to the white meat today. I can't even tell you why, but you know why it is really. It's because all that shit was bottling up. It was only a matter of time. It gets dark. It gets deep, man. I'm telling you. Marlene says, Marlene says, I work in healthcare. I see scream cry at least monthly. It's hard to watch. Damn, I can imagine. I could imagine. You know? But like I said, in the world we live in today, everything is about, it kind of goes into a little bit what I was talking about last night, like when they had like social media and everything, being caught for a moment. People are more worried about that type of stuff. Like nobody's really worried. Like I see a lot of clips where you see black women who, they feel like they're not understood. They feel like people don't really understand the things that they go through. We understand, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody goes through it like a black woman. But the message just needs to be also that's understood. But just remember, nobody goes through it like a black man. You know, it's just different. It's different situations. You understand? That's not any way, shape, or form putting it down either. It's just saying remember also. It's not saying instead. No, wait a minute. Instead of saying that, say this. It's just saying remember also. You understand? Black women and black men need support. Yeah. But you know the problem with that right there, like black men and black women need support. That's a fact. But it's like, where do we get that support from though? Because if you look around, it's more so black men versus black women. Versus not coming together, not not consoling each other, but it's more like a versus thing. You understand? And everything it's always, if it's not black men picking out the negatives about the women, then it's the women picking out the negatives about the black man. And at the end of the day, we all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like we all fucked up. At the end of the day, we kind of like really all we got. You understand? As corny as it is to say it, because it's repetitive, because you hear people say this type of shit all the time. Yo, we all are God. We all we got. We need to stick together. But it's really true though. America don't know what it's like to be black. They don't know what it's like going through the shit that we go through. You understand? Like that bar was set high since the moment we was born. You understand? I'm not about to get all historical and all of that, but May Rain, appreciate you, Queen. Appreciate you. Nah, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? This video was only inspired because of the clip that I played. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you the last time. Well, actually, I can't. Last time I cried was when my uncle passed, but that's a legitimate reason. You know what I mean? For somebody like me, that's about it. That's about it. You know, everybody has their days where they're gonna feel sad, they're gonna feel blue, and they don't feel like talking to people. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that they're gonna cry. You know, I hate to keep saying the word cry, but it's literally in the title. So Amber says I deleted those messages because it didn't make sense like I meant it. It's all good, Angel. You know what I mean? You know, I feel like I understood where you was coming from. I didn't see nothing wrong with anything you were saying. You know, May says it's okay. You can cry if you need to. You know, I damn sure, even if I was gonna cry, I damn sure wouldn't cry around on this live and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that, May Ray. Appreciate that, Shay. Appreciate that. I'm picturing the Boys in the Hood scene. I'm trying to think of which scene you're talking about. I should automatically know which scene you're talking about because I've seen that movie 1,000 times. Do you know that when Doughboy walked off the screen and those words popped up saying Doughboy was shot 2 weeks later, whatever? You know, I cried that time. That's when I cried, honestly. It's ironic you brought that up. I forgot what age I was at when I had watched that movie for the first time. You know, Doughboy is one of the favorites of the movies, you understand? At the end of the movie, when he walked off the screen and they said Doughboy had gotten shot, like what was it, like 2 weeks later, I cried out, oh, damn, he got Doughboy. God damn, he got Doughboy. God damn. Seriously, though. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on. All right. My bad, yo. Appreciate y'all. Oh man, I had to step away right there because when you brought up Boys in the Hood, I started thinking about Doughboy right there. I had to walk off. I was getting ready to break that. Nah, I'm bullshit. Blanco, what's up, man? Appreciate you. You already. Oh yeah, if y'all got just drop y'all can drop y'all links and stuff like that. Hold up, Blanco, because I be seeing you over there, man. I be going down my my timeline and shit. I be seeing the dope music you be doing and shit like that. So I mean, if y'all got wrenches, y'all can yeah, Mayrain, drop your I don't know if you know how to do it. You can drop your link in the chat. I don't know if you know how to do it or not. Let me catch up on some of these comments. Yeah, I would have never cried on live. You know what I'm saying? I would have to be in real bad shape for that. I'd have to be in real bad shape for that. Molly said I cried before when they didn't have my favorite ice cream. I had a bad day and wanted that one. After you walk, I was mad frustrated. And I think I could put myself in your shoes. You have probably one of the worst days in your life, and the only thing that could bring you any kind of joy or relaxation and get your mind right. That one thing that would make me feel better is if I had that one ice cream. And then you would look forward and it's not there. So I can understand that, Molly. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I have seen you. You definitely not scared to let people know you're upset, Marlene, because I know there's definitely times where you have cried on live. You know what I mean? I commend you for it. Honestly, I commend you for it. Because how many of us get on, like this platform, and we might not necessarily be feeling it, maybe because we're in a down place. You understand? The last thing most people, one of the worst, to some people, what would be embarrassing might actually be satisfaction for somebody else. Because let's face it, there's just something about crying when you're alone and when you cry in front of people, right? When you express yourself while you're alone and when you're in front of people, there's a difference. It seems like there's a little bit more satisfaction there when you're saying to the world, like, listen, yeah, I'm going through some shit right now. And y'all just excuse me, but I just had to let that out. You know what I mean? When there's people there to witness the fact, okay, this person was going, clearly they had something on their mind. They were going through something, and they wasn't scared to let it out. Because at the end of the day, the thing is, even though this live is about, well, it started out, the main focal point was men, black men specifically, that don't cry. At the end of the day, we all know what that's like. It really doesn't matter if you're a male or female. You understand? Because we all can understand that that's just something that maybe more people need to do. If I wouldn't be as many damn fools in the world if more people cried. Like, I can say that with a sense of humor, but I'm also serious. There probably wouldn't be as many psychos. Maybe there wouldn't be as many psycho ass motherfuckers in the world if they had somebody to talk to. Seriously, think about that. If they had that one person who said, yo, brother, you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. I'm going to sit down, let me know what's on your mind. If they had that one person, a lot of situations, they didn't, necessarily have the right people around them. And they went off and started doing other things. Next thing you know, it explodes to the point where they start experimenting with this, experimenting with that, nothing but violent, you know, and I'm definitely not trying to make this live about serial killers and nothing like that. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about how far it can go. You understand? I believe it can go that far. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think a psychologist, therapists, when you see these documentaries about people who have committed like those type of crimes, those are some of the first people you see sit down and speak behalf of the situation, a psychologist or a therapist. Some of these historical you know, serial killers and had their brain cut open and examined, you know, like it did some shit that was so crazy that they're like, well, I got to see what was going on in his full brain. Like he was doing some wild shit. What was going on with this? You know what I'm saying? Like we got to cut him open to figure this shit out. He was going through some crazy shit. What the fuck? Let me catch up on the comments. My bad, my bad. Okay, Mayray says the one where he got into it with the cops and go. Oh, okay, right. So fucking sick of this shit. I'm so tired of this shit. You talk about that scene, right? Swinging at the air. You think you tough, nigga? You know, if you remember, Don't Be a Menace, they made fun of that whole scene and shit. You know, that's terrible. Like, of course he was crying. He had a damn. You know, it's bad when you had the white cop and the black cop. The black cop showing more aggression than the damn white cop. I hate you, little niggas. You think you tough? You know, I be crying too. Like this nigga jacked me up because he had that bad shit. You ain't right for that shit. You supposed to be a brother. You gonna jack me up like after I just bought this shit? You gonna jack me up like you think you tough? For real though. Oh man. Let me see. I won't miss all these comments. Yeah. Let me see. News just in: J-Lo filed for divorce from Ben Affleck. I thought them fools been divorced. Really? I thought they been divorced, but I know I had seen a picture where they was together or whatever, you know. I try not to get too much into these celebrities' business and shit, but you know, I was never really like attracted to Jennifer Lopez. I promise there's gonna be some eyes going like a lot of females that were kind of like model status for a lot of brothers coming up. I was never really attracted to Jennifer Lopez. She just seemed too superficial. Is that the right word I'm using here? I don't know, man. I don't know. I ain't trying to diss her or nothing, but but that's too bad, the whole divorce thing. And see, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. I bet you a lot of people, well, when you got celebrities that divorce, I think people normally look at that as like a business decision, you know, because it's like, okay, we both have our brands and shit. Let's come to some terms here. So you figure that the celebrities are more worried about their brand and the result of it's like, let's end this before it get too messy. The main thing they're worried about are the terms and conditions that they can come to agree to and shit, but people forget that celebrities, they do have emotions, I I can point out the clip from Tyrese again. You know what I'm saying? Like these celebrities, they're not robots either. Can you imagine being a celebrity, people thinking that the only thing that's on your mind is money, power, and status? But it's like, y'all don't know what I'm going through behind the scenes. I just made $50 million doing my last movie, but none of this, I can't take this shit to the grave for me. They got it the worst. When you think about it, they got it the worst. At the end of the day, materialistic shit, this money shit, we can't take that shit to the grave with us, man. We can't take that. Amber says, if anyone feels like crying right now, Go check out the DNC right now. It's tragic. What's going on right now on national TV? Okay. Maybe say, stop playing. You're not gonna cry now. I don't cry easy, but when it happens, I let it flow. Right. Appreciate you, Marlene, for dropping May Rain's channel. Blanco said, I've been trying to stay active. Yeah, I be seeing you, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing your thing, know what I mean? All life things that just want to support real. Yeah, definitely, check out May Rain, you know what I mean? She got a good vibe over there. Marlene said, I needed that ice cream, man. I believe you. I believe you. That ice cream probably was to you what a pint of E&J might have been to a man. You know what I'm saying? It's like I gotta have this drink, man. You know what I mean? Before I hurt somebody, I just gotta have that one little sip, man, to help me relax. You know? At least you didn't get the cutlass, though. Hopefully you didn't get the cutlass and you didn't get the ice cream. You know? Let me see. I got clowns for it, but I don't care. I'm not holding it shit. Why would someone clown you for that? That a troll make fun of me when I said my dad had cancer. Wow. That's dark right there. That's dark. But one thing I learned, and this is kind of like a sidebar right here. I'm sure everybody knows that as long as you're a content creator, right? If you're on an app like this, then the first thing that you have to get used to is the trolls, because that right there, when we get in front of these cameras or we get on these lives, people don't know what we're going through before we got on. People don't know what we're going through once we get off. You understand? Like the trolls, they aim to kind of like destroy us mentally, emotionally. And I've seen people actually break from shit like that. I have seen it. But it's important that you get past that, because the trolls, they're gonna keep coming and they're just gonna dig deeper every single time. I remember I had when I was on my other channel, the trolls got so bad that I decided to just make them content. I did. And I might have went too far at a point, honestly, because I started just like doing like it was an actual segment called Troll Alert. You understand? That was literally what it was called, Troll Alert. And I would just take a few minutes to rag on them if they had a picture. I would rag whatever they had that I could use. I would tear their ass up using that. If they didn't have a picture and they just had a name, even if it ain't their real name, I'm like, listen, you gonna get this work one way or another. I remember one time this chick who had her picture, she was dressed up like she had like a sexy cop uniform on. But she had said something to me. She came for me kind of hard, yo. I'm like, but I don't know this lady. Like, why you coming at me like that? And I'm not gonna lie. I kind of ripped her ass up, man. I ripped her ass up. I want to say her name was Boss. It was Boss something. It was kind of a long name. She had a sexy little, I made fun of her outfit. I think I might have said that thing got you looking funky. Like, you need to take that thing off. I kind of tore her up. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of tore her up. Give and receive, though. Give and receive. You understand? That's why I feel like people need to understand how important that is. If you don't want to be dogged out, don't dog people out. If you don't want to get your ass ripped out the frame, then don't bring that. If you can't, you understand? Like sometimes when I do shit like that, when I was doing that type of thing, I wasn't even doing it because I enjoyed it. I just want them to understand. Like it's the principle. It's like, don't forget that your feelings can be hurt too. You sitting here, you trying to hurt my feelings. You trying to make me feel away. You trying to, you know what I mean? Trying to bring me down to my knees. But don't forget, you can be affected too. You can be touched too. You're not God. You're not the son. You can be reached. You understand? So anytime when I was doing that whole troll alert thing, that's all it was. I'm like, okay, if you want a few minutes of my time, if you want some attention, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. And I gave it to him. You know, I might have did like 7 episodes of it, but I believe I erased them all, unless they're in my archives. I don't know. But if I find them, then I'll actually release them and I'll share them out so people can see exactly what I'm talking about. That's when I was on my bullshit, man. I wasn't going looking for trouble. But if trouble came to me, I invited that bitch in and gave him a drink. You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say, man. Let me see. Nutroll, what's going on, fam? I didn't even see you in there. My bad. I'm so busy running my damn mouth. Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. You already. So now I really gotta look at the comments close because I might be missing folk, man. I only said it was Amber, but being content creator is not for it's not for the weak at all. It's not. Anybody on here, you gotta know that. Wow, that's what the block button is for. Like that. I blocked them. Let me tell you something. I was looking at my YouTube studio the other day. I think this was last night, and I still got like 10, maybe 15 names that are on my, on my block list. I was thinking to like start a new slate, so I almost just took them off of there, wondering if I took them off, would they actually start up again? You understand? Because I can deal with the trolls now. I've been on this thing for like 5 going on 6 years. I know what it's like to be trolled. I know everything they can say. They can only use what you give them against you. You know, like I'm talking about when I used to go live, I would be, chilling, laid back, hands in the back of my head. When I used to have my camera on way more at that time. And I realized that if you even there's nothing they won't pick out about your ass. Like, you could be sitting there on live talking about something that actually has some relevance to it, right? You could be sitting there talking about the end of the world. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe that they say aliens are supposed to touch down tomorrow and this just might be the end of the world. You could be talking about some shit that even is for their benefit, but they're going to focus in on that one dot of ketchup on your white tee and drag you for it, fam. That's a troll for you. That's a troll for you. You could have your window open. You could be sitting there in front of your camera. A fly could have just came. You could have been sitting there talking about some real shit, the realest shit that even the troll can understand and relate to. A fly comes through your damn window, flies past the camera, and you look in your comments, and then you got a fly in your house. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. It really just be one reaction. It just be one reaction. You know what I'm saying? You catch up with these comments because I'm on full mode now, man. I think for serial killers, it's the soul. You think so, man? Nah, it's not for the weak. True, man. Blocking is good for some. I said I'm gonna stop blocking. I'm just gonna tear your ass up. I started inviting it. You know what I mean? I ain't running from it. I'm not gonna block you. If I do block you, it'll be after I rip your ass up, man. I'm gonna embarrass. I'm gonna try my best to embarrass you, just so you get a taste of it, so that you understand the principle of watching what you say when you come in certain people's comments. That was what my point was. But you do with some people, you can't do with everybody. Everybody's gonna react different. The 5 people out of the 10 people that you trolled, 8 decided to let it go, and 2 people actually had a little bit of time on their hands, so they ripped your damn heart out your chest, and they just put that shit on their wall like a trophy. And you can't do nothing about it. The same way you were saying to them, you can't do nothing about it. I'm trolling you. I can say whatever I want to say to you. Oh, now you can't do nothing about it. Do something. Come fly to me. I used to just troll them back. I had fun like that. There is a reason why we were brainwashed not to cry, because it would make you insane if you lose that emotion. I can imagine that. That's some deep shit to think about like that. What if we really didn't have the ability to cry, what would humans like really be like? Like what you think the world would really be like if we couldn't cry at all, if we couldn't release this pent up emotion? And the only way we could deal with it is through action, basically. That's what it is. We wouldn't be able to let it out through tears. So it's like our boiling point would be in the form of action, which means hurting some damn body. As bad as chaotic as the world is right now, just imagine that. That's a scary thought. Molly said, realist one. I didn't know you had acting skills. You know, a little something, a little something. You know what I'm saying? A little something. I be on my Tubi. You know. May Rain says, his acting was good. Might need to do skits or whatever. I kind of like incorporated skits into some of the content that I used to do, you know, but it's all locked up. But oh, April Showers, appreciate you. Yeah, I go running my mouth and I see who in the chat. Appreciate you, Miss April, appreciate you. Again, anybody in there, you know, drop your links or whatever the case is, or you know, if you want your link drop, you know, ask one of the mods to do it, you know, or I'll do it if you want it drop, you know. It's just on entertainment tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's part of dumbing down humanity for control. Kevin, what's going on, fam? Appreciate you. You already. It's sad when a troll breaks someone. Yeah, it definitely happens though. It definitely, yeah, I've seen people kind of like get ran off because of the trolls. You know? Um, that is sad, right? Like this internet shit, it can really affect people differently. That's why it's wicked, man. You know, it's supposed to be used for entertainment purposes, informational purposes, but there are people who, you know, it's the devil's playground at the same time. The internet really is the devil's playground. You understand? You don't know who's on the other side of that camera. As far as the trolls, I mean, you know, their goal is to make sure that by the time you get off of the internet, that their words affected you so bad that you might not ever want to come back. And I don't know what type of human being thinks like that to where they would want to affect another motherfucker to that point. And here's the thing about it. Here's the thing I always say to people, right? The people that do shit like that do things towards other people, they try to cross other people or shit on other people, criticize other people, attack other people. They wouldn't even be able to handle you know, like 2% of that, right? If we were to give them, that's the funny thing about it. If we were to give them that same energy, that same treatment, return those actions to them, they wouldn't be able to handle it. It's always the weak ones that try to dish it, but they just forget. They just don't realize that the ones you try to dish it against, they're stronger than you think. And now they just happen to have a little bit of time where they want you to just, even though you didn't succeed in what you were trying to do, it didn't hurt them, right? But they still want you to just get a taste of your medicine. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to come in double dosage. Appreciate you, Shay. Appreciate you. Let me see. Turn on the camera now. I'm not scared to turn on the camera. I just, you know, I went so long without turning on the camera, you know, because I'm pretty sure other people probably be saying that shit too. They'd be like, why this dude don't ever turn on this camera? Not everybody thinking that. Some people think that. You know, there are actually people on here who get trolled for that, right? There are narratives that people create when they see people don't like turn their camera on. Like there was a person on here, a female on here I seen who the narrative was that the woman was in a wheelchair, bro. Cause she never turned on her camera. You know? The one few times she did, you know those backgrounds where they're kind of like virtual backgrounds. Like people kind of ran with that, and because they only seen her from chest up, it looked like she was sitting down. The narrative got passed around that, oh, she must be in a wheelchair, maybe she's crippled. That shit crazy. Let me see. Reciprocation. That's a fact. Reciprocation. You gotta listen. Whether it's positive or negative energy, I'm still working on myself, man. I'm still working on myself. You understand? I do believe in eye for an eye to an extent. You know, like I don't believe in like going so low to where I have to second guess it later. But it's more the principle with me. You understand? Just it's like if you punch somebody, like no. You spit on somebody and they cut you. You wanted that. You didn't give any thoughts of what that person was capable of or where their mindset was at, or the type of person that you were dealing with, and you didn't care. All you knew is you wanted to disrespect and cross that line. You wanted to cause that person some type of harm, and you wanted to humiliate them because you thought you could. So you spit on that person, and now you're bleeding out and hoping that somebody, calls 911 to save your life. And it took for that drastic of a measure for that person to realize that you just got to be careful what you give. When you give it, you have to be prepared to receive it. When you spit on somebody, they just might cut that ass. God forbid. I ain't wishing nobody to get hurt, man. You understand? I'm trying to catch up with y'all comments. Sometimes I wonder if the trolls are AI bots. There is a such thing. There is a such thing as botting. I was just talking about this last night. There's been a thing. Actually, it's always been a thing, but I see that it kind of like it popped like this kind of like pops up every once in a while, right? Where like if you have somebody who had, let's say they usually get like 20 subscribers in their live, 20 people watching, right? What the botting does, and maybe y'all know about it already, but because I still don't understand it fully. When the botting is, taking place, however that happens, now they might have 500, right? And from the way it was explained to me, people put money into it so that they can try to mess your channel up. They try to like mess up your algorithm flow, I guess, or whatever. You know? It's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen to other people. It's crazy, you know? But those are for people who basically have like beefs and shit. I ain't never had, and even if I did, I promise you, I'm not coming out my pocket to put into some whack ass bots for your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that really going? Like, nah. Because if it's really beef like you say, then I probably don't want to interact on the internet. I probably much rather handle it offline anyway. So why am I going to do anything like, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's stupid, but there are bots. There definitely, there's such thing as like bots, trolls, stuff like that. Nutroll say, all right, my bad. Someone was bothering me. Salute chat and Maz. Realest everyone calls me Nutroll, but it's neutral. All right, bro. It's all good. Oh, okay. My bad, bro. I see. See, now I'm laughing at myself. That shit sound crazy. You know what I'm saying? I never even thought about how crazy that shit sound. Like, yo, Nutroll, what up? Yo, I'm glad you corrected me on that shit. Neutral, all right, my guy. All right. Neutral, all right. I'm glad you told me. I would have been forever saying that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first seen it, I'm like, is he really calling himself Nutroll? Nut roll nigga, is that what he calling himself? Neutral nigga. All right, I got you. My God. All right. I'm glad you are. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, fam. Shout out to you. But Frankie said AI robots, yeah, non-sentiment, shit love. They only attack on YouTube because they were bullied in real life. That's a fact. That's a fact right there. That's a fact. Ain't that a shame though? Because let's say I was actually bullied in my real life and I had a platform like this, even if I know I could make somebody else feel the way I felt when I was bullied in my real life, what satisfaction does that really give me? I want to go and get the motherfuckers who was bullying me. You know what I mean? In real life. Why am I taking that out on some people on the internet? I know that's how it does work. You know, it's the same way as like these, you don't see too much of it anymore, but you see those kids, like those situations where some of these kids would be bullied in school. Next thing you know, they show up with a damn 30 clip and all of this other shit, drum clips and all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? ARs and AKs and all of that. Yeah, let me be careful while I'm speaking on this subject, because y'all know YouTube be tripping. I know they be tripping. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to get my ass up off here, nothing like that. But quick little clip real quick, man.
Money doesn't make you more of a man. Like, you can have all the money in the world and be goofy as hell.
Right.
And you just be at restaurants eating with people and eating with, you know, you be eating with a girl and she just there because she like the scenery and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you could be goofy and rich. Easy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can also be, a kid can be from a wealthy background and be a bum. Because their mentality.
Right.
They got a bum mentality. My kids don't have that. My kids have a wealthy mentality. Their spirits are rich.
Right.
Because when they was 8, 9 years old, I was taking them down to the stock exchange, going around the back, showing them, oh, yo, all the trillions of dollars go through here, just so they could see what was going on.
Only said I said nut roll too. Yeah, I'm glad you corrected me on that shit. And the way I was thinking it, but it's wrong. See, so I guess we all was thinking some shit like that. We all was thinking. You know, we all had the same, you know what I mean? But I do dig the pronunciation and all that. Oh man. Yeah, but shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. But yeah, like the internet, it can, you know, it can have a negative effect, negative effect on you. You know, like somebody who like been on here for the past couple of years, like seeing a little bit of this and that. You know, like I just, you know, I stay in my lane. I get up here, talk about what I talk about. I'm off. I'm gone, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't even like visit as many chats as I used to. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like on the down low with it. Like, the internet ruins lives. Yeah. Yeah. Like the people I kind of like started out with when I came on here, they left this shit alone, man. You know, shout out to my sis Sakina. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have never even came on here. I'm talking about somebody I was watching. When I first found out there was even a such thing as a community on here, you know, I say it all the time. It was a shock to me. Like, there's really a community of content creators. You know, people who interact with like live chats and shit like that. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. If it had not been for her, I probably never came on here. You know what I mean? Because she just gave me that vibe, like, okay, if she can come on here and she can do it, then why can't I? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I shout her out every once in a while. I kind of owe her credit. Like, I would never, you know. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm one of those people. I feel like you could argue for both of these things, right? some people feel like you can't really make genuine friends on the internet. A lot of people feel like that. And some people feel like you can, some people feel like you can't. And I've been around on this app specifically enough to know that you can make an argument for both of those things. You know what I'm saying? You just got to remember, you didn't necessarily grow up with the people that you're interacting with. So you just got to keep that in the back of your mind. You got to remember they don't owe you anything. Nobody's supposed to have the same sentiment as you all the time. Nobody's supposed to agree with you all the time. You know, and they might not have. You got to be careful. This is, but we just talking about in real life now. Just having friends in general. You know, be careful with that loyalty that you give, because you know it might not be the same loyalty that you receive. You know, but the thing is, maybe that person or those people probably figure that they always have given that, but you're looking at things different. But that's when I guess conversations come in sometimes. You know, like conversations can stop a lot of shit from going to the next level with people. Conversations can stop a lot of confusion and, you know, can set things right. But sometimes the way I look at it, in some cases, I feel like you ain't gotta tell a motherfucker certain things. I'm grown, they grown, they know what they was doing, they got plenty of sense. Like, how could you not know? You understand? But I don't know. Maybe that's the type of attitude that doesn't, like, you know, make anything better. Because I can admit to my flaws, man. Anyway. Marlene says, I want to stay around positive people now. Emma says, just got to keep your circle small. Right? I didn't even know there was a live chat until about a year and a half ago, for real. Yeah. Y'all excuse the sirens, you know. Somebody got their head wet, man. I have thick blood to hang around here for years. Yeah. I have made genuine friends on here, but I've also seen some real evil ones too. Give without expecting is the best way to be. I see what you mean by that, Rain. I see exactly what you mean by that. When you do give, right, and not even necessarily, I ain't talking about necessarily gifts, but maybe you could be giving off that respect, or you know, that might be the way to be, because it causes less stress when you just know I'm not doing this because I'm in expectation. I feel like some things are no brainer though. At the same time, it's not that you necessarily expect back, but it's like to some extent, it's like you kind of like, how can I explain it, man? But I do see why you say that. I think it depends on the situation. I guess it depends on what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Marlene say, when I do give, I expect respect. Yeah, you know, you don't want nobody to give you, you know, go overboard for you, or, you know, jump out the window or anything. But, you know, courtesy begets courtesy. At least that's what you figure, right? You know? But I understand the way, you know, some people go around. It's like, this is me as a person. This is the way I am. This is the way I'm going to be. You know, this is just, you know, who I am. It has nothing to do with you. And if you learn not to expect from people, you can't be disappointed. So I do understand what you mean, you know. Tierra, hey Queen, appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. And say it takes a little navigation through the hate and the trash to get to a point where you can literally communicate with like-minded people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, this is a virtual. I always call it a virtual watering hole, right? Because you come across so many different personalities on here, and you're not supposed to agree all the time, you know. And even if you disagree, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or they're a bad person. It just means that, you know, if I see someone acting weird, I just pull back, right? If you see somebody, you know, and that's the thing, man, because you know, energy is a mother. You understand me? Sometimes I go with my gut instinct. Like I tell people all the time, like, you know, act accordingly and shit like that. It doesn't mean that I can't be wrong about what I think, what I'm thinking, and what I'm feeling, because you know, conversation, you know, communication. And I put this up a long time ago. You know, I could be. No, I'm not gonna say that. You know, you go off your gut instinct because it tells you, you know, it's supposed to steer you right. Is it necessarily right all the time? You know what I mean? But it's like, would you rather take a chance and ignore it, or would you rather go with that instinct and protect yourself? You know what I'm saying? If you're in a situation where maybe your life is in danger, or maybe you're, you know, around people who could potentially put you in danger, and you get that gut instinct saying, stay away from this person, you know, break away, or whatever the case is. It's like, would you rather ignore that and say until 100% proven, you know, but then it might be too late though. That's the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Life is a trip, man. Maybe we getting too deep here. Let me start. I'm the same online as offline. Yeah, that's you know, that's how I am. That's how I am. You know, I just present it in a way where people can understand. Like, I can present myself to people in a couple different ways. You know, I tell people this. Um, I can be I can be hood, I can be, you know, thuggish, I can be ignorant, I can be all of that stuff. But then of course, you know, I can be articulate, I can be cool, I can be smooth, I can be all of that. And if you pay attention, purposely, I tried to like show different sides of myself while I was doing content on here, like when I did certain premieres and stuff like that. Because I think some people get it twisted and think that there's only one side of you, and think that you're in, you know, people try to put you in a box. When they see so much of one side to you, especially somebody like me, because I don't put my personal business out there. I don't involve people in my personal business and nothing like that. People figure there's only that one side to you, you know? So I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, then, well, you know, let me show you that there's more to me as a person then. You know, especially when you're a content creator, because you have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue once again. You know, sometimes you got to be able to switch it up. You know what I mean? For your audience sake. Get in different pockets. You know what I mean? Show people that you can do a little bit of this. Show people that you know a little bit of that. You know what I mean? And choose to show people certain parts of me. Right. I've never, my whole time being on here, I've never showed like anybody like a personal side of me. I feel like that's for off camera. That's, you know, we can connect offline for that. Because you gotta understand, I came in at a time where it wasn't cool to even do that. I came in at a time where if you brought your personal to an app like this, then just understand at some point, it don't matter how long it takes, it doesn't matter who it is that does it, it's going to get used against you in one way or another. Now, even though I still had to deal with that, I still had to deal with someone who, tried to use like my personals again, even though it was nothing there that anybody could feel ashamed about, nothing at all, Like people can like literally like look me up. You're not gonna find nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just a private person. I keep to myself in real life. I make sure I tell people what I want them to know, what I want them to remember. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate everybody for, chilling, listening to me talk my stuff, man. Yeah, Amber. Yeah, Ammo. If you want to act like this, it depends on who you're dealing with too. It depends on who you're around, you know. But I understood my first introduction to this app was the bad side of it. I'm talking Beyond Pride Rock, Elephant Graveyard. Like, don't go to this place. You understand? Mufasa gave Simba that, that talk. Like, don't you ever go to the, you know what I mean? Ended up there anyway. But it wasn't by purpose. I don't want to say. You know what I mean? The algorithm is a mug. I'm gonna tell you something. The algorithm, it'll take you places. You understand? It'll take you places. Marlene says, I enjoyed this one. I appreciate you, Marlene. You always been a genuine supporter. That's why I always return it back. Amber says, and you can't take your bullets back. Right. You're easy to listen to. I appreciate that. I try. It's crazy because as many lives that I've done since my whole, my entire stint on this app. I got like a lot of lives. Some of them are locked up still, like in the archives. Some of them are released. They're on my other channel. You know what I mean? At one point, I was sharing them out just to show people what I was like when I first kind of like came on here. Those are the lives where I had like had more people on. You know what I mean? But as many lives that I done did, I still feel like I'm kind of like brand new to this. Like I feel like every time I come on here now, I feel like I'm going live for the first time all over again. You know what I mean? But once I get in that Birkin bag, it's a wrap. I just start talking about all type of dudes. I try to come on here, I try to construct it a certain way while I actually have things to talk about. Some people would just come up and they'll talk about anything. They'll just ramble on and they find themselves repeating themselves over and over and over. Every day they come on, it's saying the same shit over and over and over. Now I don't necessarily downplay that, but I don't want to be somebody. Because I know what I'm thinking when I hear that. It's like, well, damn, they ain't gonna say ain't got nothing else new to add to it. They ain't got nothing else new to bring to it. I don't want to be that person. I always try to bring something new, no matter what it is, no matter if it's weird, no matter if it's, crazy. Try to add humor into it. Above all else, I try to make sure that it's something that people can walk away from. I make sure I try to give people something they can walk away with. You know what I mean? Something that they can say, yeah, listen to him. Yeah, he was acting a fool a little bit. We laughed or whatever. But I learned something I didn't know before. You know what I mean? I found out something I didn't necessarily know. I learned a little something. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not necessarily on here to teach, but I'm saying, I'm trying to entertain and at the same time make sure that, it was worth make sure that people that are supporting, make sure they can say, yo, it was worth my time to actually support this dude right here. You understand? So that's why I say I appreciate the support. You know, usually I pop up at 3, 4, 2 in the morning. That's the only time I really liked it to come on, because that's when I get in my bag. That's when, you know, that's when my brain opens up or whatever. But this was the earliest I ever came on. And I've been on here for an hour, 47, going on 48 minutes, you know. But definitely, man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate, you know, when it's real, you can tell. When it's genuine, you can tell, you know. Like I say, you know, if you're still in the chat, whoever, y'all can drop y'all links and stuff like that. And what I always tell people, man, tell everybody, you know, act accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean that shit. Just, you know, act accordingly, man.
Fuck clubs, fuck partying, fuck trying to fit in and socialize, rub elbows with everybody so people can stop calling you weird. Why are you so antisocial? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you out there practicing in the hot sun when ain't nobody else out there? Because I'm trying to get it. Why are you not clubbing? Like every time I text you and invite you to go do something fun and cool, you always studying. Because I'm trying to get it. Let me tell you something, homie. These women ain't going nowhere. These clubs, these parties, all this shit ain't going nowhere. The more weird you are is a reflection of how committed you are to focusing on your shit, molding and shaping and developing your ideas and your craft so that when it's time for you to make